The sponsor of Liftoff with Keith is the one and only CompassStrategicAdvisors.com, an experienced partner to help you navigate everything from cap tables to stock option and compensation plans and all types of backroom and marketing services. There is no better friend to the startup CEO than Compass. Check them out at CompassStrategicAdvisors.com. Wow, exciting times. Here we are at the Ignite Studios at AI Infra 5 at Plug and Play. And I'm so excited to be here with the head of the iMasons group, Dean Nelson, my neighbor here from Northern California. Dean, great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here. I love this studio.
Yeah.
Ignite, let's go.
Let's go and let's go AI Infra. So I think iMasons is one of the great stories around the valley today, especially with all the excitement around AI and data centers and everything else. But it's not so well known. Can you start off just giving us a little background on what iMasons is all about?
Yeah. So Infrastructure Masons is a professional association. So we're a 501c6 in the United States, so a nonprofit, but it's about the people itself.
Right.
So we unite the builders of the digital age. So we got about 6,000 people around the world. They represent $1.5 trillion of infrastructure across 130 countries.
Wow.
So all of us leave our companies at the door, we connect as individuals, and we actually go after industry challenges. So you can imagine right now with the growth of AI, for our industry itself, it is insane.
Huge. So what kind of companies are involved in the association? What kind of work are you looking at doing?
It's the swath of the entire industry. So starting from hyperscalers to neoclouds to data center providers to equipment vendors,
Right.
All the way down to service companies to even now the power aspect of it. And we're starting to connect on policy with the government officials and regulators, local communities. So it essentially is an entire stack because we define digital infrastructure in a very specific way.
Please.
We believe it's the information technology equipment that is transmitting, processing, and storing data, the facilities that house that, and the networks that connect them all. So to me, that's everything that leaves this phone, everything in between is digital infrastructure.
Right.
And it has never grown as fast as it is right now.
No, it's crazy. In fact, you just did a report that had some mind-blowing data. Can you give us some of those highlights that we could share?
Yeah, yesterday we had launched the iMasons 2026 State of the Industry Report.
Yeah.
And this is the third edition. But I'll give you the punch. We have tripled the industry in 3 years.
Yeah.
I want people to step back and think about that.
Triple the industry from where?
So in 2024, there was 105 gigawatts of capacity, okay? Globally.
Okay.
This year, it's 373 gigawatts. So of that 373 gigawatts, 71 gigawatts is live and serving tokens and cloud and all the other infrastructure. 22 gigawatts is under construction, and 280 gigawatts is in the development pipeline.
Wow.
Now we break that down one further.
Yeah.
81% of that global infrastructure is in the United States. 228 gigawatts of all three of those stages in the United States. Of that, 100 gigawatts is focused in Texas. Texas is becoming the epicenter, right? The center of the AI world itself on the ability for them to go back and scale AI infrastructure to be able to serve the demand.
Interesting. Why Texas, you think? Is it the size of the real estate opportunity or the political climate and legislative support? Or?
It's actually two pieces. One is the abundance of energy. Texas everything's bigger in Texas. So they've got a lot of everything from, you look at fossil fuels, but they also are one of the largest clean energy. Wind, solar, geothermal, like there's a ton of capacity, even natural gas. So you think about what's happening in this growth, there's bridge power that's happening. So one is just access to power. Because everything, the number one issue in the report is time to power.
Right.
Finding the power, deploying the data centers, getting dirt to token as fast as possible. The other is the regulation. So think of policy. They make it easy to do business because we have to compress these time frames. We've tripled in 3 years, but we're going to build more infrastructure in the next 3 years than we have in the last 30.
That's mind-blowing.
It is. I've been doing this 37 years.
Yeah.
We've never seen this true hockey stick.
Right.
Everything has always been absorbed by some efficiency gain.
Have you been watching it build for a while and sort of predicted this, or did this even surprise you?
This surprised all of us.
The pace of
100%.
demand. Because demand is, everything right now.
So again, you and I have been through these cycles over the decades.
Yeah, PCs, mobile, internet,
social,
networking, social.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even just the bomb that
Right.
happened. Everybody predicted these doublings and everything that's
Yeah.
going to go on. But what you see is this trajectory that you expect that, but efficiency gains all the way through. So in other words, we went to multi-core on CPUs, then multi-thread, then we went to virtualization, right? Then we went to cloud. And then, so if you look at it, we've absorbed all of these things in the growth. So we've done 600x the performance per watt over time.
Right.
600x.
Right.
Then November 30th, 2022 is when the first ChatGPT piece came out. And in that, the world went, ooh, the easy button. And everybody started consuming. It's the fastest adoption of an innovation or technology in human history. 100 million users within a month. So that entire thing, we truly had a hockey stick happen. Because between that moment and now, we've tripled the industry. That means, when you think gigawatt, we were talking about tens of megawatts before.
Yeah.
Then hundreds of megawatts.
Yeah.
Then the very first gigawatt campus came out. And now we're building them as the smaller units.
So demand is off the table, off the charts. What kind of challenges does that represent? What are you seeing there besides, the demand to build faster, build more, right?
Yeah, the key in this is that the hyperscalers are spending $500 billion this year. $500 billion.
Insane.
And that's the low number, right?
Right.
That's to build more capacity. They will spend $3 trillion, 2027, $3 trillion worth of infrastructure investment. That's what I mean over the next 3 years. It's incredible. But the thing is, this is very different than a lot of the other waves. You have real companies with real credit, with real money being spent, with real customers consuming. So this is not a bubble when it comes down to it. There's adoption and the innovation cycle of how this is increasing in performance. You've heard in the Infra Summit today. The adoption rates are incredible. The cycle times are even faster. So that is driving this demand for capacity.
Right.
So with that, now you look at, we define, I mentioned digital infrastructure, right? Okay, but we also see it as a digital ecosystem. And that ecosystem is like any other ecosystem. There has to be balance. So a digital ecosystem that we see right now is digital infrastructure deployed in cities and communities across the globe. It's a complex network of that digital infrastructure. And we have to be able to achieve balance in the places we deploy, operate, and live. And that's economic, social, and ecological. Just like anything else, if you have things out of balance, it doesn't thrive. So we look at it going, we have to be able to actually be positive in the communities we are. Everything from power prices to water, et cetera. It has to work economically for the economic development engines, et cetera. And then it also has to be balanced in how we are doing carbon and water within the planet for the ecosystems we're operating in. So that balance is a big focus in this report.
Dean, this is really fascinating, and I'm really impressed as well. Besides all the numbers and the demand, I think the approach, it rings so true, what's needed out there.
So I want to talk about one thing that ties to that first, because look, iMasons is my passion project.
Yes.
This is our 10-year anniversary.
Yes.
Our 10th year.
Happy
right?
anniversary.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And when we started this was just getting people together to say, can we do something different? Can we come together on that stack? But one of the biggest things that we've launched is a thing called the iMasons Climate Accord. And the Climate Accord is about decarbonizing digital infrastructure globally. And that's across materials. So think of the concrete, steel, copper in the buildings, right? There's embodied carbon in that. Then you think about the equipment that goes inside of it, the IT, the MEP, et cetera. There's embodied carbon in that.
Yeah.
Then you think about the power that enables that work to happen. There is carbon, right, in the energy that's provided to do the work. And now we've added water. So this Climate Accord aspect is how we unite AWS, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Schneider Electric, Digital Realty, Dell, right? All of those companies and hundreds of others focused on bringing decarbonizing digital infrastructure. So I looked at that going, okay, we all have an industry purpose to try and make sure that we leave this planet for our kids better than we found it. We have a responsibility for it. So then I went back and said, how do I apply that to my day job? So I have a startup company called Cato Digital. Cato Digital is a bare metal cloud. What is a bare metal cloud? We're basically getting dedicated GPUs, application and storage servers. But the differentiator here is it's all second life.
Oh, good.
We take the retired assets out of the hyperscalers. So think of like Meta and NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, sure.
We take those, refresh them, and roll them back into the data centers. And you heard today about tokenomics. Everybody wants to drive a Ferrari to work. But do you need to drive a Ferrari to work?
Or a BMW.
Yeah. Actually, perfect. So, but there's a certain element of that needs this really
Yeah.
high performance latest generation.
For sure.
But if you look at it, 80% of the workloads, including small language model training, the agents, et cetera, doesn't need the latest and greatest.
Yeah.
We have startup companies all over the place leveraging this infrastructure to go back and have their lower cost per token.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's zero embodied carbon because we're now giving it a second life. We're putting it in data centers that actually measure the carbon in the building and 100% renewable energy. That aligns to the Climate Accord principles. Operate lower carbon infrastructure everywhere you can. So we're extending the life of these assets. Just so you know, there's 50 million servers being retired in the next 3 years.
Unbelievable. We don't want to landfill them.
This
is fantastic.
Yep, this is a waste stream turning into a
We got to wrap up. Your people are telling me we got to drag you back out there.
Oh, yes.
But this has been fantastic. So glad you could join us at the Ignite Studios.
Yes.
I'll make sure in our notes that we mention both companies and certainly this fantastic report. Folks, if you have a chance to check out this report, it's amazing.
Awesome. And iMasons.org/publications. The 22-26 report is in there. It's free. Go check it out. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.